Hello and welcome to my very important tutorial on how to add 1 to 1 in Godot engine, which some people will pronounce as godot. To that I have many opinions. But today I will show you in 2 steps how to add 1 to 1. First, how you will get 1, right? How you will obtain a 1. The number 1 in Godot, and then how you will add 1 to it for your own purpose, for whatever purposes you want to add 1 to 1. Please remember to provide a thumbs up to this video, one thumbs up, or 1 + 1 thumbs up if you have multiple accounts, and if you know what that number, if you know what the result of that mathematical operation is, feel free to give more than 1 thumbs up to this video, and subscribe if you will, and go hit some bells. Right, there are bells for you to hit somewhere on the web page if you want. So, in order to achieve this task of adding 1 to 1 in Godot, you first need a new project, which can be achieved by pressing the new project button. The new project button, which we'll name 1 + 1. I'll just drop that into the documents folder. You have to create the folder here. You have to create the folder, and it will add that to the path here. And then you will have an empty folder in which to drop the project. And OpenGLES2 is, as described here, a bit worse and with less options in terms of visuals. 3 is fine unless you're making a web game. That's what I understand. And you're adding 1 to 1, very complex operation, probably best for desktop players who have the hours to put into a game. Creating the project, of course, you have to wait a bit. Time passes. You find yourself in the Godot editor. You need a script of some kind, and for that you need a node of some kind. Not really, but close enough to reality. So we'll add to the scene. We'll name it Additionator, for it will be doing the additionating. And 1 script. This is how you create scripts. You attach a script. There you go. And the script comes with a bunch of comments. You don't really need those. All you need to know is that this is here, func ready. It indicates some code that will be run the moment this thing is created. Right? The very instant it is created. Sort of. So, how do you obtain a 1 to which you can add the other 1? Well, for this you need to understand the concept of a variable. A variable is like a container of data, right? Think of it like a nation, like Scotland or Catalonia or Taiwan, that contains a number, for instance, a population number or land area number or GDP or some number that is abstract. So in order to create such a variable, you type var and the name of the thing, and then when this code is run, you will have declared an independent nation, a new variable which can hold a population number or anything else. But it will not have that number defined yet. It will not actually have a number within it. Right? To do that, what you need to do is you need to simply set that number. So you can say, in this case, Taiwan equals 20 million. And then the value of this variable, you can think of as the population of the country, will be 20 million. So, if you want to obtain a 1, the method is very simple. You simply say Taiwan equals 1. And then when this code is run, you will have your 1. But of course, you did not come here to learn how to obtain a 1. You came here to learn how to add 1 to it. For this, the technique is very difficult and requires a bit of a leap in logic. But I think you will find it to be very useful. What you can do is you can do what is called a mathematical operation upon a variable, which is part of why they're useful. It is in many ways the point of a variable. So what you can do is take the variable, and instead of setting it to, some number, you can set it to itself, right? But then you can set it to itself plus 1, right? And when this code is run, firstly, what will happen is you will have the variable declared, like the Declaration of Independence of a new nation. Except this one, of course, already exists in reality. And then the value of the variable, let us say the population of the country, will be set to 1, and then the value of the variable, the population of the nation, if you will be set to itself plus 1, which is 1 plus 1. You will have the result of your equation. And if you want to know what 1 plus 1 is, if you want, you can crank the numbers by hand in order to confirm that the result is correct. But how do you see the result? Well, for that I have a bonus technique for you. What you can do is you can look upon the value of any variable at any time that you want, right? All you need to do is very simple. All you need to do is to print, right? And this is a magical function that does not actually activate your printer and summon some ink upon paper for you to look upon. It does nothing in the physical realm. What it does is it so-called prints onto your screen the metaphorical population of the nation that you put within it. So if you do print Taiwan, then it will show you what 1 plus 1 is. So you do not even need to take the time to crank the numbers by hand. You can just look upon it. So if we save and we run this, right, you will see that it has printed at the bottom here. It has printed the value of 1 plus 1, which, as it turns out, is 2. There you go. There's your bonus tip for after figuring out what how to add 1 plus 1. You can actually look upon the result. And if you have any other mathematical operations that you might want to know about, you might want to figure out what 2 minus 1 is, or what 10 times 2 is, you can do very similar things. You can set the value of the variable to 10, and then you can multiply it by 2. By the way, multiplication is a function that is like adding multiple times. It is, it's like if you multiply by 2, for instance, it's the same as doing this, right? You add it to itself twice. But if you multiply by 4, for instance, it's like adding it to itself 4 times. The reason you use multiplication, obviously, it's more intuitive to add to itself multiple times, but the reason you do multiplication is because you can do tricksy things. You can do things like multiply by 2 0.5, which is 2.5, and you can't really add something to itself 2.5 times directly, and what you end up with is, it's like you take half of the thing and add it afterwards. Anyway, if you multiply it by 2, that's adding it to itself, and you end up with, as it happens, 10 times 2 is 20. Who could have worked that out by hand, honestly? So there you go. There's your fat knowledge of how to add 1 plus 1, and as a bonus, how to look upon the value of any variable in existence, and also how to multiply 10 by 2. So there you go. If this was informational to you, please extract your life savings from an ATM and post it to me. Or alternatively, you can give me your soul to add to my collection, or you can turn over just all of your intellectual property to me so that I can profit off of it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.